Welcome and good morning. Today is March 31st, 2026. We are here for the Larimer County Board of County Commissioners Administrative Matters meeting here at the Administrative Services Building in Fort Collins. I call this meeting to order and I ask you to stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you all for joining us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I am Larimer County Commissioner Jody Shatta-McNally, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. Joining me today at the dais is my colleague, Commissioner Kristen Stevens. Commissioner Gafalos is gone on vacation this week. We are also joined by our ever diligent and helpful clerk and recorder, or clerk to the board, Lindsay Tracy is here today. Thank you, Lindsay. And we have our county manager, Lorenda Volker. Good morning, Lorenda. We have Tom Clayton from our Commissioner's Office and Public Information Office. Good morning, Tom. And then we have Sarah Martin, who is also from the Commissioner's Office and does all kinds of wonderful things to keep us on our schedule and keep rolling along. So thank you all for being here today. We will now move on to public comment. We have one that is signed up for in the room and one that will be online. We'll start with those in line. I now welcome Mr. Sutherland or Mr. Lessam to, is Mr. Lessam? Well, that's a phone call. Let's do Mr. Sutherland first. Mr. Sutherland, you're in the room. If you please come to the podium, you'd have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Eric Sutherland, you guys are missing the win. In a way I really don't think I've seen very often in local government. Usually when there's a win out there, especially in a place as industrious as Colorado, there are elected representatives pursuing it. But not here. The loss is 6% of revenues attributable to Larimer County's mill levies, with very little in the way of public benefit for the vast majority of Larimer County residents. And this is happening in a manner that is inconsistent with our Constitution. Now, who says that? Our Supreme Court says this. In the very instance in which it, for the only time, reviewed urban renewal law. And it clearly laid out the expectation, the necessity that tax increment had to be money that was otherwise unavailable, if not but for, in the context of a debt financing scheme. Larimer County violated the Constitution and created statutes that are violative of the Constitution. Back in 2005, when it settled a lawsuit with Timnath for making a mockery of our urban renewal law. And it's all there in front of you guys. All you have to do is read the law and understand that there is a pathway forward for the benefit of the vast majority of people who live in this county. But you're not taking it. Why? Why is Eric Sutherland the one who's the problem here? Not the people who have defrauded the taxpayers of tens of millions of dollars. It seems to be just a little bit unequal here, a little bit. But the big thing is here, it's your win. You could have it.
Next public commenter would be online. Would you please contact Mr. Lessam?
Hello, this is Brett Lessman.
Hello, Mr. Lessem. This is Larimer County Commissioner Jody McNally, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. Thank you for wanting to call in for public comment. Would you please again identify yourself and where you're from, and you will have 3 minutes this morning. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Brett Lessman from Fort Collins. Good morning, Chair Shattuck McNally, Chair Pro Tem Kafalis, and Commissioner Stevens. Thank you for the opportunity to provide community comments. The purpose of my letter yesterday and following up with public comments today is to report a systemic failure by the Larimer County Sheriff's Office to investigate a case of massive financial exploitation of at-risk adults, mortgage fraud, insurance negligence, and bad faith and law enforcement misconduct. Here are the facts. On February 8, 2026, my wife and I withdrew a HELOC loan application with Citibank. Despite our withdrawal 2 days later, on February 10th, completely unknown to us, Citibank sent an email to our home loan insurers, Farmers Insurance, and instructed farmers to immediately list Citibank as not only a mortgagee on our policy, but to state that they had taken a second lien on our home property, which is appraised at $950,000 with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equity, and to use our withdrawn loan application number as the formal mortgage number on our home loan policy, which is a legal contract. Farmers Insurance, acting without our approval or awareness or explicit written authorization, revised our home insurance policy, giving Citibank the above security interest in our home insurance policy. These changes were made without a deed of trust or a signed mortgage agreement as required by law. Since we are residents of Larimer County, we immediately contacted the Larimer County Sheriff's Office and received a call from a deputy, Zach Reynolds. I informed him of the above information in a brief initial conversation. He assigned what he referred to as a criminal case number, said he would get back to us in a day or two. After tracking him down through 3 to 4 days later, he said he had, quote, talked to a couple of guys and decided this was not a criminal case, but was a civil case between us and Citibank. Shocked by the change, I asked to arrange a meeting with the sheriff, but he refused to assist. Please note, he gave no reason for changing it from a criminal to a civil case. After contacting Barbara Bennett in Victims' Rights and Resources of Larimer County, she arranged for his supervisor, Justin Calkins, to call me, and in a conversation, he said, quote, Justin Calkins said that Reynolds has said in his report that, quote, we, the Lessmans, had indeed taken out a HELOC loan, that it was approved, that we had been funded the loan, and had already spent $30,000 of the funds. Obviously, this was a fabricated falsehood. I demanded an immediate copy of the report and ended the conversation.
Mr. Lessem, I apologize. Your 3 minutes are up. I'm sorry. We kind of hold fast to that rule. We did receive your email, sir, and I will be responding back to you today. And I appreciate you coming for public comment today. And I'm sorry you're having these challenges. Thank you for your public comment today. Okay, is there anyone else in the room who would like to do public comment? Sir, is anyone else online who's indicated public comment?
No, Commissioner.
Thank you. We will now close public comment. Commissioner Stevens, would you like to respond?
Just thank you for everyone who came for public comment today. Appreciate that. And that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. I already responded to Mr. Lessman. We appreciate the public comment, and we certainly it's everyone's right to come and share their viewpoints. So we appreciate people being engaged. So we're done with public comment. So now we'll move on to approval of the minutes. Commissioner Stevens, did you have any items you wanted to change for the minutes today?
I do not.
Would you please make that motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move to approve the minutes for the week of March 23rd, 2026.
Thank you for that motion. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That passes 2-0. Sarah, can we go through the quickly the schedule for the next week?
This is the Commissioner's schedule for April 6th through the 12th, 2026. On Monday, April 6th from 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources in the Commissioners' Conference Room on the second floor. From 4:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m., Commissioners Cavalis and Shattuck McNally will attend the National Public Health Week event at Lori Student Center at 1101 Center Avenue Mall in Fort Collins. On Tuesday, April 7th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be an Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be Administrative Direction to County Management in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Rodeo Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be at the McKee Building at 5260 Arena Circle in Loveland or virtually via Zoom. On Wednesday, April 8th from 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m., Commissioners Stevens and Shattuck McNally will attend the Center for Family Outreach breakfast event at the Fort Collins Marriott at 350 East Horsetooth Road in Fort Collins. From 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m., Commissioner Cavalis will attend the Workforce Development Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it will be in the hearing room on the first floor or virtually via Zoom. From 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the State Emergency Medical and Trauma Services Advisory Council Committee meetings. This will take place at 4300 Cherry Creek South Drive in Denver. From 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Veterans Honor Monument groundbreaking event at 950 North Boyd Lake Avenue in Loveland. From 2 p.m. to 3:15 p.m., Commissioner Cavalis will speak to the Front Range Community College local government class at 4616 South Shield Street in Fort Collins. From 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Fort Collins Area Chamber of Commerce annual celebration at the Hilton Fort Collins at 425 West Prospect Road in Fort Collins. On Thursday, April 9th from 7:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Fort Collins Downtown Development Authority Board of Directors meeting at the Innisphere Ventures at 320 Vine Drive in Fort Collins. From 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Colorado Forest Health Council meeting in Fort Collins. From 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m., Commissioners may participate in the virtual Counties and Commissioners Acting Together Policy Committee meeting. From 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual Fort Collins Urban Renewal Authority Finance Committee meeting. On Friday, April 10th from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Stevens may participate in the virtual Colorado Counties, Inc. Human Services Office Hours meeting. From 12 p.m. to 1:30 p.m., Commissioners may participate in the virtual Colorado Counties, Inc. Steering Committee Legislative Briefing. From 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., Commissioner Cavalis will speak at the Northern Colorado Intertribal Powwow Association 32nd Annual Contest Powwow and Art Market at Northside Aslan Community Center at 112 Willow Street in Fort Collins. And on Saturday, April 11th from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally will speak at the Northern Colorado Intertribal Powwow Association 32nd Annual Contest Powwow and Art Market at Northside Aslan Community Center at 112 Willow Street in Fort Collins. And on Sunday, April 12th from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., Commissioner Stevens will speak at the Northern Colorado Intertribal Powwow Association 32nd Annual Contest Powwow and Art Market, Northside Aslan Community Center at 112 Willow Street in Fort Collins.
Thank you, Sarah. Commissioner Stevens, do you have any additions?
Just that I may have negotiations for human services restructuring on the Wednesday, and so I will keep you posted. We won't know till tomorrow when that meeting will be scheduled on Wednesday, but I'll likely add that to my schedule. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. Sarah, I need to add a couple of things. It's going to be a busy week. I have on the, let's see, what did we say? On the 8th, I also have the Forest Health Council has a tour. I'm going to be running around quite a bit that day. They're going to be here in Fort Collins. We'll be at Front Range Community Center for a possible Forest Health Council tour of some of the Front Range forestry and wildfire programs that we help support with Senate Bill 5 from 2023. So we will be at Front Range Community College in Fort Collins for that. And that will be just from noon to 5. And I'm going to juggle between SEMTAC and Fort South Council, which unfortunately somehow all landed on the same 2 days this quarter. And then on the 9th, also need to add SEMTech because I will have to vote in the morning. So I'm going to be juggling back and forth between those two as well. And that Forest Health Council meeting is at CSU and in the Laurie State Student Center. So, and then the SEMTech will be just on virtual. I probably will just pop into some of the work on the policy CCAT, so that leave that as a May. And then on the 10th, I won't be speaking, but I just thought we should add that I will probably stop by, but ask just to meet with some folks during the powwow on Friday night from 7 to 9, but I'm not speaking, but I will be there because some folks asked me to come meet with them. So just wanted to kind of take note of that. So I think that's all I had. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Now we'll move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is consists of items of no perceived controversy and routine administrative actions such as amendments, abatements, agreements, deeds, final plats, liquor license, resolutions, and other matters previously reviewed by the Board of County Commissioners. And staff recommends the approval of the consent agenda, and commissioners may request that an item be pulled off the agenda, considered separately, and items that may be pulled from the agenda will be considered after the board takes action on the remainder of the consent agenda. For those who are interested in all the items, because I will only be reading these at a high level, you can go to our Board of County Commissioners website. All of those details on emails and schedules, but agendas and this consent agenda details are all listed there. So I'm going to read through this at a high level, and there are some things I will take note of that are very special and important, but and we'll see if there's any things that Commissioner Stevens would like to pull. So first off, we have lots of abatements. We have 23 of them. I will not read through all 23 unless you'd like me to, but I think we will move on from that. Those are petitions for abatements or refund of taxes for certain uphold or certain things for the assessors. So that's all 23 there. Now we have agreements. The first agreement is a Bureau of Reclamation Grant Agreement Amendment number 4 for activities at Horsetooth and Pinewood Reservoirs and broadband cable and asphalt repaving. And this is through the Department of Natural Resources, and we have been awarded a grant from the Bureau of Reclamation, about $456,000 to complete 7 separate projects as Horsetooth and Pinewood. And this amendment is just to move funds from the Inlet Bay to the South Bay budget. And it's just some technical things, but this is just really important work there with in our partnership with the Bureau of Reclamation. Then we have several of these documents that I just wanted to say I'm very pleased and want to thank Amy White and her staff and her team. And also we have Chief Berthoud Fire Chief Charles in the audience, who was very much a champion and very important partner in these IGAs. And I wanted to just give them both a shout out because I have been talking about them last week as we've been talking about the wildland urban interface codes and agreements, and I say your work is exemplar as we've been having conversations with all the other counties and where we're at. Just outstanding work, and I'm just very proud to be able to explain where we are at as a county. And thank you, Chief Charles, for your enduring and strong partnership. So the first one would be the Front Range Fire Rescue Fire Protection District Cooperative Agreement for the Wildfire, it should not be Wildfire Resiliency Code Administration Enforcement. And this is just approval of a cooperative agreement that designates Larimer County as the central authority for plan review, field inspections, and enforcement regarding the adopted Wildfire Resiliency Code by the state. And so the rest of these are going to be very similar. So the next one would be number 3, the Pinewood Fire Protection District Cooperative Agreement for the Wildfire Resiliency Code Administration and Enforcement. also still names Larimer County as the central authority. The next is a development agreement for the Hanson Conservation Development, file number 21-LAND 4184. And this was a request of approval for a development agreement for the Hanson Conservation development, and this is a subdivision that will take 35 acres into two lots. One will be 11-119 with a building envelope, and there's no infrastructure improvements, and so no data is required. So this is something that we had already had some discussions about this agreement. Now we have a general contract agreement on the on-call general construction services, Delahoy, and this is for agreement for general construction services for a variety of construction projects with Larimer County, and these will be for an on-call basis. So important partnership with Delahoy Construction Incorporated. Then we have a general contract agreement for another P26.02 on-call general construction services for Aldolfson and Peterson, another strong partner in this is agreement for general construction services for a variety of construction projects in Larimer County. And then we have some more of these agreements. We have the Poudre Fire Canyon Protected District Cooperative Agreement for the Wildfire Resiliency Code and Enforcement, again designated Larimer County as the central authority. And then we have the Berthoud Fire District, thank you, Chief, for a cooperative agreement for the Wildfire Resiliency Code Administration and Enforcement that, again, Larimer County will be the central authority. Then the Wellington Fire Protection District cooperative agreement, and then same thing, and then the Poudre Valley Fire Protection District cooperative agreement, and this again is the same as Larimer County as the central authority for plan review and inspections. And then the last one is a amendment to the grant agreement between Larimer County and the Matthews House for operation of the youth shelter, and this is approval of Amendment 3 to extend spending term through December 2029 for the operating of the landing. And this is something that is the commissioners were very proud of. This is some of our American Rescue Plan dollars that we had designated back a few years ago to open the first ever youth homeless shelter in Larimer County, and it is called The Landing. So I'm very glad that's still going forward. And we have liquor licenses. We have 3. We have a liquor license special event permit of 6%, and this is for Creepy Walk in the Woods for a special event 6%. And this will probably be an event in the fall. We have a liquor license special event permit for 6%. And this is, again, for the Creepy Walk in the Woods for Kathleen Wild. And then we have a liquor license special event number 6, again, for the Creepy Walk in the Woods. And this is another special event for number 6. And if you look at these dates, one's on for 6/5/2026, one's for 6/6/26, and one's for 6/7. And that's why there's 3 separate ones for anyone's wondering why I'm repeating myself. And miscellaneous, there is a Larimer a document for Larimer County legislative positions, and those are official positions on 2 legislative bills, and they will be registered on the Secretary of State website. And then we have resolutions, finding resolution on the Hansel appeal, and this was from a public hearing items that was originally scheduled in January 2026, but we had that hearing on March 9th of 2026. And lastly, we have a document which is the resolution excluding property from the Tanninger Public Improvement District number 72. Again, this is from a land use hearing on March 23rd that was approved for exclusion of a parcel from that district. So with that, Commissioner Stevens, are there any items you wish to withdraw?
No, Madam Chair.
Thank you. I would appreciate the motion if you would mind, please reading it.
Yes, I move to approve the consent agenda for March 31st, 2026.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Stevens. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Passes 2-0. Thank you so much. Do we have any commissioner guests? Nope. And thank you all for those who are being in the consent agenda. If our business is concluded, you're welcome to leave, and we wish you a wonderful day. Thank you, sir. Now we'll move on to our discussion item. We have one today, which is a very special one. I'll invite Aaliyah Rodriguez up. This was submitted by Aaliyah Rodriguez, and this is a proclamation declaring the month of April 2026 as Fair Housing Month to raise awareness of the critical role safe, stable housing plays in assuring dignity and opportunity for all families. Oh, so Aaliyah is sending another one fine, wonderful person to come talk, and she'll introduce herself. Please introduce yourself and welcome.
Thank you, Commissioner. My name is Lexi Valenti, and I'm the Housing Liaison for the Office of Housing Stability. I'm here today to just tee this up before we go ahead and read the proclamation. We often discuss the housing gap, but today we recognize those who build the bridge. Sherwood House offers families the vital time and space necessary to transition from homelessness to self-sufficiency. Once families are ready to cross that bridge, fair housing law ensures that the door to a permanent home will be open to them. Family Housing Network demonstrates that community support truly changes lives, and fair housing is the legal commitment that reinforces this community effort. And there are some Family Housing Network guests. May I invite them to join me?
Certainly.
Thank you.
I'm Annette Zacharias, the Executive Director of Family Housing Network, and we built out a Sherwood House Bridge Housing Project because we had such a gap for those who were our most vulnerable and weren't ready to quite move into housing. And our community didn't have permanent supported housing for families. And so Sherwood House serves our vulnerable families with children in our community.
Welcome. Next.
Good morning. My name is Jim Zaffarana. I'm quite honored to serve as board president for the Family Housing Network. And I'd just like to say that this is truly a community lift. We have over 1,000 volunteers across 28 faith communities with a net staff, local business support, and donors. And it's truly impactful. And thank you for recognition today.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Alley. I'm the Sherwood House case manager, and I just feel really fortunate to be able to work with these families every day.
Wonderful. Well, we're really glad you're here today. This is a kind of a new proclamation for us. We didn't do this when we first came on, and we're very glad staff kind of raised this and let us have this. It's important. Proclamations aren't just to look pretty. They really are standing behind our values and something that's important to us and that we want to raise awareness. Commissioner Stevens, do you want to just have some comments and some questions, and then we can read the motion and read the proclamation and make the motion? You want to go ahead and make your comments or ask questions now?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Annette, and Stephanie and Jim for being here. Really appreciate it. I'm wondering, so for people who aren't familiar, can you talk a little bit about the origin? Because I believe that you started out just churches hosting folks, and then you're able to get a permanent location. So can you just tell just a little bit about the history of Sherwood? And
I would love to.
Okay.
So we started out as Faith Family Hospitality, which was it's a rotational program based on the National Family Promise model. And so we have 28 faith communities who continue to rotate every single week. Now we are in the process of purchasing a permanent location. Now that program is ideal for the lower acuity families. They can self-resolve into housing with a little bit of case management support and get income and stabilize their families, and they can move into housing within 3 to 4 months. What we saw was about 7-8 years ago, we saw that there were some families in our community who needed more time, and the rotational model was not ideal for them. They got very, very weary. Being trauma informed, we tried to lessen the trauma on the family, not increase it. So what we saw was that rotating every week to a new home that they would set up in a Sunday school room was very difficult on their family long term. So the state of Colorado talked to us about this bridge housing project. That bridge housing is an idea where families don't rotate any longer. They actually stabilize in a short-term housing situation or a long-term shelter situation where they co-house. And the city of Fort Collins had this perfect opportunity for us. It's the former domestic violence safe house. And so we did a large renovation on it, and we turned it into co-housing, longer-term shelter for up to a year for families. Now 7 to 8 families stay together in that time frame. Stephanie does her job of working with them a couple times a week or every day for some of them to overcome their obstacles and challenges and get them the supports that they need, whether they're mental health supports, childcare supports, educational supports. income education goes hand in hand for adults. So some of our families are not able to get good jobs in order to pay for their housing, which it's an expensive proposition in Larimer County. And so some of them don't have a GED. Some of them have mental health issues that they need to overcome. So Stephanie connects them in and creates a network of support around them in their time with us, increasing their income to a level where they're able to sustain their housing in Fort Collins or Loveland. And so that's why families who have a higher acuity level, they come to that place. And so we can do 7 or 8 families at a time, and then they move into housing and they stay there permanently.
Thank you. Thanks for explaining that. It's such a great model, and it's so great to involve the community in that. And so I'm so glad we're highlighting the work that you do here on Fair Housing Month, because I think a lot of people don't understand that homelessness looks different in different spaces, and there are families that are homeless and that face different kinds of challenges than maybe single folks do as they experience their homelessness. So for folks who want to get engaged, should they go to your website? How can folks get engaged if they're interested?
We would love for them to go to our website. They can call our front desk. Our guests, potential guests, call our front desk, but potential volunteers can as well. So, calling us at 970-484-3342 or going onto our website. There's actually a tab that says ways to engage. So they can engage in the daytime hours at our day center. They can engage in the evening hours. What we find with volunteers is that we also like to match the volunteer with their skills and talent base with the perfect job for them. Next Friday, we're actually highlighting 5 of those volunteers at our Heroes for Homeless Families fundraising event. And, for example, we have one woman who just loves reading to children. And so we're highlighting her this week, and she's getting a Heroes Award because she is the FHN Book Fairy. And so she meets every child who comes through our program in the 100 families we serve each year, and she then puts together book packages for them. So we try to connect our volunteers just as well as we connect our guests.
I appreciate it, and thanks for letting us know about the fundraiser and all the work that you do. I think that you're, like I said, the perfect organization to highlight for Fair Housing Month. And just this is a proclamation that we haven't done in the past, but we know how important it is, and we know that people face barriers. Some of the barriers, in the past have been things like redlining and racial barriers. And now there's barriers like mental health issues, financial barriers, a lot of barriers to getting into housing, people who have been formerly incarcerated. And so we need to, build that bridge, break down those barriers, and make sure that everyone in our community has housing. I thank you all for the work that you do to make that happen. So thanks for being here, and thanks for highlighting your work. And as a group that our 4-H club has done pancake breakfast in some of the churches, that's been a really good experience for the kids that I help mentor to learn about, homelessness, and that not everybody in our affluent community is doing as well as others are doing. And so a good reminder that we all need to chip in and help. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. I echo a lot of what you said. I think you're a fantastic group to raise awareness and elevate today. Very grateful you're all here today. Several years ago, when now that my kids are off in graduate school, but we used to volunteer back when they were in the churches and rotating through. And I bring all the kids, and the kids would play with the kids or read or do crafts, and then the rest of us wouldn't serve the meal. And you're right, going into the different rooms. But then I always wondered, by the next morning they had to be out and I'll always remember this image that they were carrying. They even have suitcases. They were all carrying all their belongings, each in a laundry basket. And I remember that image so clearly. And I thought, well, how hard is that to have to pack up everything in a laundry basket, and then the kids had to go off to school, or in the summer, sometimes in the summer, I thought, well, where do they go after this? So it was always something that I wondered about, but I'm really glad to hear that this has progressed, and then there's this bridge housing, which is fantastic. And I really think it is important. A lot of these families are very vulnerable. The kids, we have to so much get upstream to keep them from having detriments that keep them from learning, especially at this critical time in life. And so really, really important work, and for not only the present, but they're these people, children's futures. It's so critically important, and I commend you for the work you do, and thank you to all the staff for bringing them today and highlighting this. Appreciate it very, very much. And so, Stephanie, Annette, and Jim, and our wonderful housing staff, thank you all for this opportunity. Just to commend you all for the work and raise awareness, and this is something that uh, we champion here as the Board of County Commissioners, but also just we hope everyone in our communities will look to see how they can help. I know a lot of folks are feeling like they need to take action, and how would they do that? These are options and opportunities. And so if you're feeling frustrated with the way the world is right now, sometimes the best thing to do is to go volunteer and take action elsewhere. And certainly lots of opportunities such as your wonderful organization. So we will now move on, Commissioner Stevens, and thank you all. Lorinda, I just want to see if, did you have anything you want to add real quick?
I guess as I was looking at the agenda, I was thinking this was landmark legislation in 1968 when it passed. And for lots of different reasons, housing has changed over time, but it's no less important and it's no less critical to the community. And so it's great to be able to highlight it because it's a value of this board and this county and this community. And thank you for what you're doing to move your little portion of the world forward. It's really important. If we all do just a little thing, wouldn't the world be a better place? So it's a little Pollyannish maybe this morning, but it feels like the right approach. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate it because we truly, our vision is every child deserves a home. And so for fair housing, we're like every kid deserves to go home to their own home every single night. So thank you for this recognition. It means a lot to us.
Thank you. So we'll move on for Commissioner Stevens to please read that motion. I read the proclamation and make that motion. Don't go too far because we're going to make you take a picture. So, Commissioner Stevens.
Do you want them to sit down for now, though? I mean,
Well, no, we'll go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. This is the proclamation for Fair Housing Month. Whereas housing discrimination continues to impact thousands of families across our nation, limiting fair and equal access to housing opportunities. And whereas familial status is recognized as a protected class under federal and state law, helping to ensure that families have fair and equal equal access to housing opportunities within our community. And whereas the month of April provides an opportunity to highlight the success of bridge housing, including the critical support it provides to families and children experiencing homelessness, and to underscore the importance of safe, stable housing as families transition towards long-term self-sufficiency. And whereas Family Housing Network and their Sherwood House program exemplify the spirit of Fair Housing Month by providing critical bridge housing to families with children, by offering not just shelter, but the stability, dignity, and support necessary to break the cycle of homelessness and ensure a safe environment for the next generation. Whereas Larimer County believes all households deserve access to safe and stable housing, and acknowledges that low-income families are at a disproportionate risk of facing unlawful housing discrimination. Now, therefore, we, the Board of County Commissioners for Larimer County, do hereby proclaim the month of April as Fair Housing Month. During this month, we encourage all residents, visitors, communities, and organizations to come together to raise awareness by increasing public understanding of the causes and consequences of housing discrimination and both its effects on children and families, support solutions for policies and practices that address discriminatory displacement before it occurs, and 3, offer aid to local services providers and advocates to volunteer, donate, or otherwise affirmatively further fair housing in the community. By recognizing April as Fair Housing Month, we hope to unite our community in the fight against housing discrimination and inspire positive change for the families and children of Larimer County.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens. Please, would you make the motion?
Yes, Madam Chair. I move to approve the proclamation declaring April 2026 as Fair Housing Month.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
That passes 2-0. If all would mind, we're going to go offline just for a moment so we can take a picture with our proclamations, and we'll be right back. Thank you. Welcome back. Thank you so much as we took a moment to honor some folks for our proclamation for for Fair Housing Month. And that's that's all we have on our discussion items, but now we'll move on to our county manager update.
Thank you, Commissioners. It's going to be really brief today. One of the really exciting things I get to do is participate in the Climate Smart and Future Ready executive team. So that's about 6 of us from across the region who talk about how the committee's work are going and what we can do to maybe help further their efforts. We had a presentation, and I'm going to read her name because I don't want to get it wrong. Kristen Rasmussen, who's an associate professor at CSU's Department of Atmospheric Science, presented some information on drought, which was really interesting given the work session we had on Monday with the sheriff. It seems like everyone is watching our weather and our drought conditions, and we all have similar concerns coming at it from different reasons. So I hope to get those slides and be able to share those with you. They're really scientific, but we were all geeking out on our 20-minute presentation about how they look at this over time and what kind of cycle we're in and what this may mean for the coming years. So thank you again to Kristen Rasmussen, to Heidi Pruis for setting up that presentation. It was really, really informative, and I hope to share it with you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorenda. I'd be very interested in those slides. I've had a couple of those others, but it'd be nice to see, bless you, compare. But I think yesterday's presentation with the sheriff and some others, if everyone is not aware or looking at this with water restrictions, if you look at the conditions right now, bless you, we are on the eve of probably one of them. I hope I'm wrong, but we're on the eve of one of the most historic dry areas and probably worst fire seasons in the history of Colorado. If you look at all the conditions compared to the Hayman Fire and the Cameron Peak, we have already passed all of those indicators, and they're actually now the ERC, the energy release content number, they're thinking about having to adjust because the measures are beyond what we have on the scale. It is very alarming, and I hope folks are paying attention right now because it is starting to line up to be very alarming in my perspective. So we'll move on to Commissioner. Thank you for your work, Lorenda. Commissioner reports now. Commissioner Stevens, I know you had a very busy week. I'm sure you have some things you'd like to share.
Yeah, I have just a couple things. Thank you, Madam Chair. So last week on Wednesday, I was at the Capitol working on the Human Services restructuring. I think that the negotiations are going well. For those in the public, just want folks to know that HR 1, or the big beautiful bill, changed a lot of our funding for human resources or human services and we are trying to figure out how to restructure to be more efficient with that work that we do, and how to do that important work of getting people food and medical benefits with less funding, much less funding, and potential penalties because of our error rates in Colorado. So really trying to work on what that might look like to share resources among the counties. Nothing has been hammered out yet, but we expect a bill to come out that will start to lay out our path forward in that space. And so just continue that work. I was also, when I was at the Capitol, had the ability to go to a bill signing on 2 bills that I had worked on, HB 1001 and Senate Bill 001. These are appropriately, those are both bills that deal with housing and hopefully create more housing for people that are exiting programs like Family Housing Network to find homes in our community. The HOME Act allows school districts and local nonprofits, housing nonprofits, and universities to be able to build housing on acreage of 5 acres or less with an expedited process, so they would not have to go through some of the permitting and the extensive process that other housing has to go through, because we know that housing is very needed. But these are trusted partners, and they will work with us to make sure that housing fits in our community. So I think we came out with a really good bill there. The governor signed that bill. The second bill that was signed was SB 001, which provided middle income housing tax credits to be transferred to people who didn't necessarily own that, but were building those middle income housing. So really gives some additional opportunities for middle income housing to be built in our communities. We know we need that housing for teachers and other people who need to live and work in our communities. And one of the most important points of that bill, besides the middle income housing tax transferability, was that we can use ad valorem taxes on in the county to work on housing issues. And so we know our community wants us to work on housing issues. We were prohibited from doing that by a preemption at the state. Now we have the ability to do that. So I think really great bills that will help us work on housing in our communities. And then finally, also in relation to housing, I had the Middle Income Housing Authority meeting on Friday, and we discussed there's a lot of challenges in building middle income housing. It doesn't have as many tax credits and bonding opportunities as lower income housing does, and so it often faces a lot of gaps in funding. And we are looking at trying to figure out ways to address those gaps and make sure that this housing gets built in our communities. We are in special limited partnerships with a lot of housing projects that are going on across the state. One of them is in Frisco, and that is being built right now. So we're very excited to see that housing built, and look forward to having more opportunities. Hopefully at some point, interest rates will go down a little bit and allow people, not only middle income housing to be built, but people to buy housing at a more affordable rate. So a lot in the housing space, and very appropriate on a day that we are discussing fair housing. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens, and thanks for all those updates. And thank you for your work with the human services work. That's been a lot of progress has been made from where we were at last December, November, and thank you for keeping us up to date. And I know you spent a lot of time down in Denver recently with that, and I want to thank you for that. So I just want to share a few things. Last week, we had the Fort Collins Business Association meeting, and it was very interesting to learn about some of the URA work that the city of Fort Collins is doing, that association is supporting a farmer's market in that area in association with the URA project. So I was interested to learn about that. And then I went to our Larimer County Behavioral Health Services staff did a breakfast for grantees. And I haven't got a post about that on social media, but it was very, very interesting and very exciting, as it was a speaker that had been at economic and workforce development. They had asked me to come open and speak, and I got to be there for a little bit. Of course, great to have some breakfast, but it was really impactful conversations about those. And I want to shout out to our Larimer County Sheriff's deputy in the room, that those are taking care of others. We need to take care of ourselves and make sure that we are doing things to not burn out and to, self-care. And I think everyone on the planet should do that. It's so important because right now we have a lot of work to do and a lot of stress, and it's important that we take care of ourselves so we can continue to take care of others and do our jobs. So that was exciting to see and appreciate being able to open that. Then I did have my Larimer County Court Security meeting, which was great to meet our new, not quite official, should be any day now, official new chief judge or acting chief judge, Chief Judge Lampkins, and great to talk with him. I congratulate him. As we all know, our former Chief Judge Blanco, is now Supreme Court Justice, Colorado Supreme Court Justice Blanco, and so just really excited for some of those things happening for Larimer County. We had our Community Advisory Board. I'm still trying to get used to the new name, and they had a really great meeting. I had a bunch of other meetings that I had to return remotely that day, but they had some good conversations and a great presentation, and I'm just really glad the board is still everyone's coming and really engaged, and lots of good conversations happening. I think they had met and talked with Emily Humphreys about community justice alternatives and some feedback there, and so I appreciate that. And then we had on Thursday was pretty busy day for me. We had Commissioner Stevens and I both went down to the state capitol for our commissioners and counties acting together, and that's a chance for us to be at the capitol before 7 a.m. We love that, I know. But actually, it's really nice. You get in the capitol and look through the rooms, and the whole building's empty, and you can look straight through and see through all the arches, and we get a chance to talk with some of the staff in the morning, but also meet with the legislators before they start and talk about, just our relationships and things. And it's really nice to connect with others, because you can't make friends when you need them. And we need to talk about counties working with our state legislature, and it's important work. And I thank Thomas and Julia for their work. And then we had our Mountain Pine Beetle Coalition meeting, which is with Dr. Dan West, just still talking about changes with that. And it's a great meeting to continue. Then we had all day of steering committee meetings for CCI on both Friday and Thursday and Friday. And Commissioner Stephen and I covered different portions of that, but it's usually all day long. I did have several extra meetings where we were meeting with proponents of a bill that would change all those woody code things we talked about today. They want to delay the implementation. And so that's really concerning, because looking at how things are lining up the fire season, it is go time. It's past go time. We need to be, even if we try to mitigate all the ingress, egress areas, all the major water intake areas, and all the major infrastructure around utility lines, that would be 3 to 5 years of work. Now, to do all that right now. And those are critical things that we need to have power to be able to come on, clean water. And so we have things to do and homes to protect and lives to save. And I just wanted to share that. A lot of those meetings last week was trying to get everyone to see kind of the bigger picture and how we can come together to some consensus. Then we had a regional appointment meeting, still working on looking at grants, and a lot of new members. Welcome Estes Mayor Gary Hall to the council, is taking over for former trustee Youngland. And then I went to the Colorado City anniversary celebration, and then attended the water tables, which discussion, 2 different events. So happy anniversary to the Colorado Water Center. But all 3 of us are at the Board of County Commissioners. I don't think too many counties can say that. All 3 of their commissioners have done the Water Leaders class. And so it's very educational, but this is the Water Center and all the work they do. And I won't go into details, but it's just amazing, the work. Even had pictures from the waterworks and some of the hiking from 1920 along the Poudre River from some of those staff. And then the water table was, I was with Director Ellis, and they had people leading these tables, and Jordan Barak, who is the executive director, Mighty Arrow, used to be on our planning commission, and I took the Water Leaders class with her, and she led a phenomenal discussion. And we had several CSU students that had been comped their tickets, and they were just outstanding, amazing discussions. Just blew me away. I'm hoping to continue talks with them. And then we had our Natural Resources Advisory Board, which is our first really board as the new name of the Natural Resources Advisory Board, as we combine parks and open lands. Very important meeting, talking about grants and the small grants they give out to the community, and that was a really powerful meeting. Very busy day that day. We had more steering committee meetings for CCI, Colorado Counties Incorporated, but I also had the NOCO Places in Person partner meeting, which was fantastic to see and learn about from the University of Pennsylvania, or Penn State also, and some partnerships with our Rocky Mountain National Park and others for messaging on how, like even people picking up their dog waste and how we can do that better, or maybe on off trail, how we message better and how that's, and be consistent. So that was powerful. And then we had lunch. I had lunch with Estes Park Mayor, which was a powerful lunch. He laughed at me. He said, "You covered 20 topics with me in less than an hour. I can't believe you did that." And I said, "That's how we roll. We got to get things done." So it was a great meeting. And then on Saturday, we were all very active, but I did go up and attend the for Visit Estes Park, because I'm on the board, the Visit Frozen Dead Guy Days, and that was well attended, lots of great community effort. And I was there with the mayor and other trustees, and it was very powerful. And I appreciate all of that work, and then met with the state service, Forest Service, about some things. So it's been a busy week, and that's all I have to share. I hope you all will look at those fire restrictions and think about what that means for when you head up to the hills. And so we all have a responsibility to take care of each other in this space. And so at 9:55, without any further items, any executive sessions, we are adjourned. Thank you and welcome. Have a great day. Thank you for joining us.